tonight. My first guest is the anchorman for the NBC Nightly News. It's a real pleasure to welcome my downstairs neighbor, Tom Brokaw.
This is great for me because normally when I go somewhere, there's somebody yelling at me trying to get me to do something.
I know. We have the best crowd in the world, Tom.
This is so pleasant to change the pace.
We have the most polite audiences in the world. Very considerate. How are you? You look fantastic. You look great.
I've been skiing. That helped a lot. You know, all the bones still work. Everything's fine.
Where did you go skiing?
Went out to Telluride, Colorado, as a matter of fact. Sylvester Stallone's now home away from home, I gather, although I didn't see him out there in the mountains. So.
A lot of celebrities out there?
Well, I don't know whether there are or not. I get, you know, when I get there, I get on the slope and go skiing right off the bat. You tend to find the celebrities standing around, you know, at the bottom of the bunny hill with a drink in hand.
Having mochaccino.
Yeah. Right, having mochaccino in the latest.
What do you like on the slope? So you just, do you become just
I ski pretty well. I've been skiing a long time. I've had, you know, those moments in my life when things have not gone the way I'd like them to. I went in Utah one time, managed to go off the trail and into the trees very hard and managed to break a couple of ribs. There was a man who was skiing with me at the time who was kind of trying to hang out with us. He was not somebody that we were wild about. And when I got back up onto the trail again and the ski patrol was there bandaging me, he said to me with some note of authority in his voice, "Oh, what kind of a tree was it, Tom?" I said, "God, I don't know. I think it was a pine tree." And he said, "Well, you're very lucky. That's soft wood, you know, pine."
That's a good authority.
It's a very comforting thought, actually.
Now, you actually take kind of aggressive vacations usually. You're not a kind of guy that just goes to Hawaii and lies on the beach, right?
No, I try from time to time, and it never quite takes with me. I was in Barbados over the holidays, and I had a very good time. I was well taken care of, but I also took my sea kayak with me so I could assemble it down there and go off and go off into the water. I just find that you know, I get enough, I guess, of the good meals. Well, you know, the lavish lifestyle that we have here in 30 Rockefeller Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
You know, GE always visiting things on us all the time. So
we're always very well taken care of.
I like to go sacrifice wherever I can. I do like the third world a lot more. It's just a lot more interesting.
Like, where do you go? You have a break. Where's someplace you would go to
I've been in Africa a fair amount, in Nepal, and in China, and in the Russian Far East, and lots of different places. 2 years ago, I went to a place called Montang, or the province of Mustang, as Westerners call it. It's way up in the corner of Nepal. It's essentially a Tibetan Buddhist province. Very few Westerners have been in there in the last 1,000 years or so. We took 6 days to get to this walled city that has been there for 800 or 900 years. It still has its own king, and the king lives in quite a primitive apartment. And he invited us to dinner one night, and I was comforted to know that this man, however, has been in touch with the outside world, because as he sat there on the cushions in his lotus-like position in this, what essentially was a Buddhist shrine, I looked, and just off to his left, beneath a shelf there, was a Vegematic. So I knew that we'd probably be doing it. There was no Popeil's pocket fisherman, but there was a Vegematic.
He offered you a Thigh Master.
Well, I think the Juice Man is next. The Juice Man goes to Montang before.
All right, now you seem to me like a bit of a straight arrow. You see, you're very, you know, you're an authoritative guy.
Right.
You are a news anchor.
The illusion works.
The illusion works. You seem like, you know, you've always been on the straight and narrow. Is that the case with you, actually?
No. I mean, there's you know, still a little streak of mischief in me, although I'm now a man with 3 grown daughters and the heavy responsibility of doing the anchoring. But no, I like a good time, and I liked an awfully good time when I was in school.
Well, when you were in college, what were you like?
Well, it was hard to know that I was in college when I was there, actually. I think that's a fair description. I once had a professor of mine come up to me on the floor of the Democratic Convention, a political science professor from the University of Iowa, and I recognized him right away from the 2 or 3 visits that I'd made to his class in the course of 1 year. And he said to me, "Tom Brokaw, I'm Professor Johnson." I said, "Yes, I know that." And he said, "I've always admired your political reporting, and then someone told me that you had been in my class at one time. And so I went back and looked up your records." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I have only one question." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Was it my fault or yours?" And I said, No, it wasn't your fault.
Not a
Dr.
great
Johnson.
student then.
No, I came out of high school with lots of expectations and hit the wall. Hit the far wall of the Airliner, which was a popular bar, and hit the far wall. Hit the far wall of the Fi-Fi house on a couple of occasions. You know, I had a good time.
Now, does this ever inhibit you from when you're questioning people about their past?
No.
Do you find you don't press politicians about their college record?
This is a large fraternity, I've discovered. A couple of years ago, I was on a panel that was questioning Dan Quayle and Judy Woodruff, who did all the right things when she was in school and graduated with honors at Duke, as an old friend, said to Britt Hume and a man by the name of John Margolis, who's a well-known print journalist in Washington, they were the other panelists, I think we ought to get into Quayle's college record. And the three of us, without having checked with each other, said, no way, man, because he may be asking about our college records, and we don't want to do that. And it turns out that there is this, this will be comforting to those of you out there who are watching this program instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing at a college campus somewhere.
That's a lot of our fan base, actually. People that should be doing something else,
You can recover, but you better start now. Fact is that there are a lot of people who have gone through these kinds of episodes, you know, that I dropped out of school for a time. The woman to whom I have been happily married for a long, long time, with whom I was involved at that time. Wrote me a letter saying, hey, listen, you know, forget it, pal. You know, you're not going to amount to anything. And so the letter was kind of a wake-up call, and I've been trying to make up for it ever since. I must say, my alma mater has done a very good job of playing on my guilt. They've gotten a lot of money out of me over the years.
There's a gold keg named after you somewhere.
Right, we can go national. We can go national. You know, I did once, I guess somehow it stuck to my hand, a beer pitcher, a glass beer pitcher. And it's a reminder to me, I keep it around as a reminder to me of what inflation has done to America. That pitcher of beer, about that high, solid glass, filled at the time, cost 75 cents.
Really?
75 cents. And somehow it
what the hell has happened to this country?
Stuck in my brain.
That's what Washington has to hear.
That's right.
Well, I have to ask you this. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this before you left. People are being inundated with O.J. stuff. O.J., you know, everything and anything about the O.J. trial. And I was wondering if you foresee a point where it's not mentioned every night in the news somewhere.
The O.J. trial?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J.
There's been an incident.
Not a good career move. No, I saw a friend of mine last night who's a Los Angeles Times editor. He was at the Washington Post during Watergate. We've both been in journalism a long, long time. We have seen the fall of communism, the fall of the Berlin Wall, Tiananmen Square, the Challenger accident, the Ronald Reagan Revolution. I have never seen a phenomenon quite like this. All of America needs to be lashed to a polygraph machine because they're all lying. They're all saying, I'm bored, I don't want to watch it anymore, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And they're reading every syllable and watching almost everything that happens on television.
The CNN has got the highest rate. It's like
ratings
quadrupled its ratings.
It has a great deal. And people, you know, and radio talk show hosts who deign no interest in it whatsoever say how much they hate it for 2 hours when they're on in the morning so that people will continue to be involved in it. I've never seen anything like it. I do liken it to, I suppose it's our kind of national Scott Thoreau novel of some kind. It is a national novel played out on television. All the characters are larger than life. There was a tragic, terrible murder. As a young police reporter, I learned early on that there is almost nothing boring about a courtroom when there's a murder trial underway. And people are able to see that. And then you know, almost every week there's a surprise of some kind, real or imagined. I hope that we can get through it. I thought that the class of '93 wore me out. The Bobbitts, the Menendez brothers, Woody Allen, and that crowd. Once they graduated...
Yeah. That's gotten so much better now.
Yeah, it's gotten so much better now.
There's always news.
All they have to do is worry about a double murder.
All right. Well, listen, thanks very much for coming by, Tom.
Conan, mark it down. August 14th, you'll be starting center field.
Really?
Yeah.
We did this once before, actually.
Right, right.
I played softball on your charity team, and you yelled at me the whole time.
Actually, what I did was jerk you from the lineup because it was the managerial move of the year.
I hit a nice rope right to center, and some clown was there and caught it. I did a nice...
It was Brooke Shields, as I recall.
Okay. I don't remember. I thought it was a real muscular guy. Anyway, Tom Brokaw.
It was Brooke Shields.
Wow! Thanks very much for coming, Tom. NBC Nightly News. Tom Brokaw, we'll be right back.